The Joshua Bell Experiment, the value of art in the midst of indifference. On January 12, 2007, a mysterious violinist stood in the corner of a bustling subway station in Washington, D.C. His instrument, a Stradivarius violin crafted in 1713 and worth $3.5 million, produced sounds that could move even the hardest of hearts. For 45 minutes, the violinist played pieces of staggering difficulty and emotional intensity. He performed works that required not just technical precision, but also profound artistic interpretation. People passed by, glancing occasionally but rarely stopping. By the end of his performance, the musician had earned only $32 in tips. Over 1,000 commuters had crossed his path, yet only 7 paused to listen for more than a few moments, and even fewer seemed truly moved. What no one realized was that the man playing in the subway was Joshua Bell, one of the best musicians in the world. Just 2 days earlier, Bell had performed at Boston Symphony Hall to a sold-out audience where tickets averaged $100 each. That night, his audience erupted into applause and gave him multiple standing ovations. And yet here in the subway, playing the same repertoire on the same priceless instrument, he was met with near total indifference. This was no coincidence. The entire event was an experiment orchestrated by the Washington Post to explore questions of perception, context, and the value of art. The results were both fascinating and unsettling. How could such extraordinary music go unnoticed? How could a performance that had captivated thousands in a concert hall fail to attract attention in a public space? The explanation lies, perhaps, in the way we perceive beauty and value. Philosopher Immanuel Kant argued that beauty is not an inherent quality, but depends on the perception of the beholder. In the subway, the commuters were too preoccupied with their routines to recognize the beauty unfolding around them. Their minds were focused on catching their trains, arriving at work on time, or navigating the demands of their day. This inability to pause and appreciate what was before them could be seen as a form of self-denial, what existentialist philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre might have called bad faith. Sartre believed that by losing ourselves in the structures of daily life, we deny our freedom to engage authentically with the world. Another layer to this phenomenon is the role of context. Pierre Bourdieu, a French sociologist, believed that our appreciation of art is heavily influenced by cultural framing. In the grandeur of a concert hall, surrounded by an audience primed to value classical music, Joshua Bell's performance becomes an elevated, almost sacred experience. In the noisy, chaotic environment of a subway station, stripped of its prestigious context, the same music becomes invisible, blending into the background like an ordinary busker's tune. This raises important questions about our modern way of life. Are we so consumed by our routines, so distracted by the demands of the day, that we miss the extraordinary moments hidden in the ordinary? The experiment is a stark reminder that beauty does not announce itself. It is not always adorned with the trappings of prestige or importance. Sometimes it appears quietly, unassumingly, and it is up to us to notice it. The story of Joshua Bell in the subway also highlights the commodification of art. In the concert hall, his talent is packaged and sold, and its value is reinforced by the high price of admission. In the subway, where the music is offered freely, it seems to lose its worth in the eyes of the audience. This reflects a troubling tendency to measure the value of art, and perhaps life itself, by external markers such as price, prestige, or context. There is also a deeper, ethical question here. What does it say about us that we can walk past such beauty without even stopping? If we cannot pause for a moment to appreciate a gift like Joshua Bell's music, what else might we be missing? Acts of kindness, opportunities for connection, joy in the small, fleeting moments of life? This experiment forces us to confront the possibility that we are overlooking not just art, but life itself, caught in the unrelenting rush of our schedules. Joshua Bell's subway performance was more than just an extraordinary display of skill. It was a profound test of human priorities. It was a reminder that life is not just about getting from one point to another, but about finding meaning and beauty in the spaces in between. The commuters who stopped to listen, even briefly, experienced a moment of transcendence. For them, the subway became a concert hall, and the ordinary was transformed into the extraordinary. And so, we are left with a challenge. Can we learn to be more present, more attuned to the world around us? Can we train ourselves to recognize beauty even when it appears in unexpected places? Imagine if we lived differently, if we paused, even for a moment, to listen to the music, to notice the small wonders that life offers us every day. What about you? If you had been there in that subway station, would you have stopped to listen, or would you have hurried past, like so many others? What does this story say about the way we live, and how can we learn to better appreciate the gifts that surround us? Share your thoughts in the comments. Perhaps the real beauty of this story lies not just in the music, but in the reflections and conversations it inspires. If you're not subscribing to the Usafi channel, you're probably never going to see us again. But if you are, then congratulations, you're growing every day.